Ha! Leftovers. What to do with your leftovers. Now, a lot of times I make brisket or chicken or tacos and stuff like that, and I have a bunch of leftover beef, chicken, or pork, some type of meat, and I don't usually want to reuse it the same way, unless it's just so tasty I just gotta have more. And sometimes that happens when I make my ribs and pulled pork or chicken marsala or something like that. But what to do with your leftover meat? Now, I made some brisket and I had some leftover and I decided, let's make some meat pies. Meat pies. That's right, meat pies. And it's really simple. I know if you're like me, you don't really bake a lot and you don't make, like dough from scratch or pasta from scratch. And I'm working on that, but a lot of times I just buy my already made pizza dough from the grocery store. They sell them in these little bags. They're already made. Yeah, you just roll them out. Kind of like pie crust when you want to make a pie. So in this case, I took some potatoes and I took some leftover brisket and some pizza dough to make a crust. And I made pies. And I also made a calzone. That's right. I made one of those too. So in this video, I'm going to show you what to do with your leftover brisket. And if you have any type of other leftover meat, you can use the same idea that I'm using in this video. You're just going to use a different meat. So let's make some pies. Yes, pies. Look at this beautiful brisket pie with potatoes. It is so tasty. And look at the calzone next to it. Don't they look happy together? Yeah, so we're going to make some, and you're going to need some pizza dough, leftover brisket, potatoes, onion, garlic, flour, portabella mushrooms or any type of mushroom you want, Marsala wine you can get at your local grocery store or wine place, butter. That's right. So you're going to take a skillet and you're going to melt down some butter, not all the way, because we're going to be sauteing some stuff. We're going to saute some onions, we're going to saute some mushrooms, and we're going to throw in some flour to thicken it up really, really good. Yep, flour to thicken it up. Or you can use cornstarch if you have that. And don't get mad at me, but I'm using my home salt and pepper instead of ground pepper, hand ground pepper. And you're going to need some beef stock or broth to give it that beefy flavor. And you're going to need, of course, your leftover meat. In this case, it's my smoked brisket. And you're going to need your pizza dough. Yes, store-bought pizza dough makes it so much easier. And now we're going to show you this good old 4-inch baking pan. Personal size. That's right. Individual size. One size for you. That's right. We're going to need some Marsala wine to taste, to give it that Marsala flavor. We're going to need some olive oil. Got to have the olive oil. Or if you have avocado oil or something like that. As long as it's oil you can cook with. And you're going to need some minced garlic. Yes, I buy my garlic sometimes already minced. It saves me time. And we're going to start chopping up the onions, the mushrooms, the potatoes, and we're going to put it in a pot, a skillet. We're going to saute it. But we're going to cook up these potatoes a little bit first, and we're going to add some salt and pepper to give it some flavor. And I'm not using kosher salt. I know what you're saying. And we're going to use some black pepper. We're just going to mix it up. We're not going to cook it all the way. We're going to let it cook until it's almost done. I guess you can call it al dente. Then we're going to add in those good old tasty mushrooms and onions. Yep, just like this. And we're not cooking it hard. We're going to add some garlic. Who doesn't love garlic? I love garlic. It's one of my favorite things to taste and eat with my food. Don't eat it by itself. I don't love it that much, but I love cooking it with food. And you're going to cook it up probably for about 10 minutes. And then after that, you're going to add some flour. And you're going to add it a little bit at a time. I probably would say about a tablespoon at a time. And you're going to mix it in real good because you just want it to get thick, pie-worthy. If that's such a thing, worthy enough to be in the pie, in the crust, so that way it's thick and it's not runny. You get the point. Yep, so after you do that, it's going to be time to add 1 cup of beef broth or stock. If you're doing chicken, of course, you want to add some chicken stock to it. So we're going to add some of that to give it some flavor. and it's going to be almost gravy-like, like a really, really thick gravy, paste-like. Then you're going to add about a 1/4 cup of Marsala wine. This is going to give it that really nice taste. If you've never had a Marsala chicken or anything like that, then you're missing out on a really, really good dish. All right, so we're going to mix it up and we're going to let this thicken up some. All right, now that is thick, as you can see. And when it cools down, it's going to get a little bit thicker. Right now it's hot, so it's going to not be as thick, but believe me, when it cools down, it'll thicken up. And then you're going to grab your leftover brisket or chicken or pork or whatever meat you decide to use. And then after that, you're going to mix it in real good. It sounds kind of funny when I said it like that. You're going to mix it in real good. Yeah, so just make sure you mix it up really, really good so all those flavors can marry together and give you that really, really good taste. And then after that, you taste it. And if it's something that you like or you think you want to add more, then add more to it. But you get the point. You just add it together, get some really good flavor. Then you get your pizza dough and you get your pizza pan. Now, if you want to go big, you can go big. If you want to go small like mine, then go small. All right, now here's the part with the pizza dough. I don't like making dough from scratch. And it's not that I don't like it. I'm just not really good at making dough. For some reason, it's one of those things I have to kind of just work on. And you just roll it really, really good. Stretch it out, roll it, stretch it, roll it, stretch it until you get the thickness that you want. Now, it doesn't have to be super thick, but thick enough to hold what you're going to put in it. Now, one of the techniques I do know about when it comes to dough is that you put it in the pizza pan or you put it in the baking pan. And then after that, you're going to have to weigh it down. So that way it keeps its shape. So what I decided to do was take some wax paper and put it in there. And to hold it down, I'm adding rice. That's right. Rice is going to give it enough weight. So that way, while you're baking it, it's going to keep its shape. Now, you're going to bake the crust first for a few minutes. And then after that, you'll be stuffing it. Okay, so put your oven at 400 degrees and bake it for about 15 minutes. All right, and it's going to give you a nice crust. Now it's time to prepare the dough for the brisket calzone. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to roll it, shape it, roll it, pull it, tug it, all the stuff that you do with dough, and get it into the shape that you want. And for me, this is the shape I'll use for the calzone. All right, so we're going to fill that baby up, fold it. Make sure you fold the edges so that way it doesn't open up or fall apart while you're baking it. And I have a little hole on top, so I need to do some repairs. I think this will do the trick. Just put a little piece of dough on top. That should be good enough to keep it all together. Yep, looks good on this side too. And as you can see, I'm not a professional, so there we go. Just like this. Now we're going to sprinkle the kosher salt. I don't know why I didn't use kosher salt earlier, but hey, I have it now. And we're going to put a couple of slices in there so that way it can vent and cook on the inside and it doesn't get soggy and you come out with a really nice crusty calzone. I often wonder when I say calzone, am I saying it right? I hear some people say calzone, and I think I'm just going to stick to calzone in this case. Since I've said it a few times already, let's not change anything, right? So 15 minutes later, the crust is ready, and we're going to take a look at it and see how it came out. Now, this is for beginners when it comes to making crust and pizza crust and pie crust. And that looks pretty good to me. That looks like it's going to come out pretty decent, you know, for a little meat pie. All right, time to put the ingredients inside. Look at that. Brisket, potatoes, garlic, onion. This is going to be tasty. All right, and just pack it in there real good. And then for the topper, we're going to put cheese on top. Now, you can use any type of cheese you want. You know, whatever cheese you like, you can put it on top. Just make sure that it's covered completely and that it's going to bake up and it's going to give you a nice, crusty, cheesy pizza on top. And look at that. Look at it. I put it in the oven for about 20 minutes and it came out looking like this. 400 degrees is what you need to have your oven. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you kind of eyeball it and look at it. Beautiful. I'm going to enjoy this. And then you just be very careful when you take it out. In this case, I have clamps. So I'm using the clamp method. Unclamp it and pop it out. Look at it. Yummy. And it smells so good. Yes, it does. And I think when you make this, whoever eats it with you, whoever you cook it for, they're going to be like, wow, that is really cool. I never thought of using my leftover meat to make a meat pie. So let's cut this baby open and see how it looks. Oh yeah. Look at it. Cheesy crust on top. Ta-da! Look at that. Cheesy. Those chunks of brisket, potatoes on the inside, garlic and onion. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And let's take a look at the calzone. The brisket calzone. I'm saying calzone now. Brisket calzone. All right, so same thing. Bake it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Pop that baby out. Then after that, look at it. And you could even sprinkle some of your seasoning that you like on it. And it comes out looking beautiful. It's quick. The longest part it takes is just the prep work. But look at it. A nice, solid chunk of calzone, brisket, potato, onion, garlic. Let's slice it open. Look at it. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Doesn't that look like something that would get you full? Look at it. This is going to be tasty. Well, that's it. What to do with your leftover meat. Make a calzone or a pie. Now go make some.